So let's begin the SAT Lab Part 2. So we finished Part 1 right here, so I'm going to actually click on it. I'm going to click right along the edge here so that it becomes a solid line, and I'm going to hit delete and move those directions. And I actually want to move these ones again, make that line solid by clicking on it. I've got my 4 arrows. I move that up so I can see that a little better. So I want to be looking at Part 2, and what I want to do is make this data so that even when I look at this huge square of data, I can actually get an idea of what are going on and some of the patterns. So first thing I'm going to do is I realize right now that my freeze isn't on, so I'm just going to quickly go to 4, hit right below what I want to freeze. It's a good thing for everybody to practice again. Freeze panes. Okay, so now I can see where everything goes. Awesome. And I'm going to go to conditional formatting. So I want to really, to me, 1700 is a wonderful, pretty high score. I want to know how many states are getting that as their average. So I'm going to highlight combined scores. That's what I'm interested in. So I click up here, I hit Control, Shift, Down key, highlight all of my data. And then I'm going to go right over here to the Home ribbon. Okay, so for conditional formatting, if you want to write this down, Home ribbon, under Styles, drop-down menu. What I'm interested in is greater than, so highlight cell rules that are greater than. So I am going to look for greater than 1700, and I am going to fill with green. Okay. Now it looks like a lot are filled, but if you notice right now, it's only filling the ones that are greater than 1700. So if I go back a little bit, okay, so if I want to shrink my screen so you can get a better view of what's really happening with the data, when I look at all of this data, I can see, okay, this chunk right here, these people are scoring greater than 1700. All right, zooming out was great for kind of getting that image, but I can't work with that small of a size, so I'm going to zoom back in here. Okay, great. So I've now done A. Hopefully in your notes over here. So if you do have your notes on conditional formatting, you might want to write in how you go to the Home tab, click on conditional formatting, move from there back over to here. So we're going to do conditional formatting again. This time we're going to highlight in red all participant rates that are greater than 75. So I'm interested in states that are greater than 75. Control Shift down. Conditional formatting, highlight rule, greater than, and I am going to do 0.75. Since percents, the numbers are actually not 75, it's actually a 0.75. Remember, percents are not numbers you can do math with. So we've got to go back to decimal format, okay, and now I can really see if I want to kind of go back again to get an idea of what's happening across states, and I can see that these is kind of a scattering of states that have above 75%. Okay, the last thing I want to look at is percentage change. I want to see the difference between math and reading scores, all right? So I'm going to have to, again, make that a solid, move that over. I'm going to make sure I'm at the very, very top when I do this, and I'm going to add in a percentage change here. Now to keep this formatting, it's going to be a little hard. It automatically did what I wanted to do. However, this is extending over, so I'm going to wrap that text right here. So click here, wrap text. The other thing is my titles no longer go over there. So to make those two titles go over there, I actually have to unmerge first. So I'm going to unmerge that. Then I'm going to remerge it. Click on A1. It might not look like it, but these cells are now separate. So click on A1, highlight all the way over, and then merge and center again. Same here. Click on the entire thing. I'm going to unmerge, then just click on A2, highlight all the way across, and merge and center again. Okay. To get my borders back to how I want them to be, I'm going to highlight everything right here. So all the data I want, I'm going to go up to borders. I'm first going to go no borders. So I remove all borders, and then I'm going to put the borders back where I want them. I want thick along those outside. Now, in order to do percentage change, you sort of need to remember the equation right here. So this is the equation with time. You always do your later year minus your earlier year divided by your earlier year. But we're not dealing with time here. We're doing math to reading. So we're going to thinking that wherever you're going, it's like if you go from 2016 to 2017, what's first is your Y1. So we're going math, so we'll call that our Y1, to reading, which we will then call our Y2. So that's the equation that we're going to try to set up on Excel. All right, so let's set up that equation. So to set up that equation, we're going to always do an equal sign that lets Excel know you're doing math. So I'm going to do an equal sign. I'm going to do parentheses to begin with to say this is everything on top. So everything on top is going to be y2, which we said was critical reading, minus y1, which we said was math, and parentheses. That shows that this is everything in the numerator, divided by, okay, so you're going to go with that little divided by symbol, and again we divide it by y1. And we hit enter, and there is your answer. All right, now let's try that one again. Equals, parentheses, so we have y2 minus y1, which is math, divided by math. Enter. So this is going to take a while, so you can do that kind of quick trick way, which is you just highlight the equation. This is going to be the equation all the way down. You've got a white cursor, a white plus sign. We're going to get it the power to become a black plus sign. Hold down your mouse and bring it all the way down to the bottom. All right, now we have that problem of it's kind of hard to read, all these huge decimals. What do those mean? And that's why we actually have percents. Percents are much easier to interpret, even if we can't use them in a math problem per se. We have to turn them back into a decimal. So let's get those into percents. So what's percentage change? I'm going to highlight that H column. I'm just going to go click on percents. And now I can actually get an idea of the kind of change going on. Which you can see, it's pretty small. Okay, it is pretty small. If you want to see the largest one, you can always sort it by the largest. All right, there we go. So if you are curious what state has the biggest change from math to reading, you could quickly just highlight all of your data, Control-Shift down, and then go to that sort, right, custom sort, and let's look at it by percentage change, and I'm going to go largest to smallest, and now I can see that Mississippi has the largest change between these two, but it's just 3%, so it looks like they're pretty close all the way through. There's a bunch that actually have 0, and our biggest one is that, the smallest one is actually a negative change, but it's just that 4% negative change. So this is it for part 2. We have kind of a visual of what's happening. If we just look at the data really quickly, which is kind of nice, because you can kind of just sort of immediately see from these reds and these greens about what states, how many states are getting that really high average, how many states are getting that really high participation level. But let's take a closer look now with part 3. So that's going to be in the next video.